TYT Sports here. Rick Strom with editor-in-chief of boxing.com, Robert Ecksel. Robert, how are you today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. We have a big fight tomorrow. Vladimir Klitschko, IBF WBO champ. David Haye, WBA champ. In Hamburg, Germany, expecting a crowd of 55,000. What can we expect for this fight?
Well, it sort of remains to be seen. David Haye has certainly talked a good fight. As you know, he's gone on the offensive against Klitschko, calling him names, challenging his boxing skills, his ring entrances, his accent, his everything. But he's a smaller man, and he's sort of...
By 2 inches.
By 2 inches. But he also has less experience against heavyweights, so it remains to be seen if he can really put his money where his mouth is and get through Klitschko's jab, Klitschko's defense, and put some hurt on the big Ukrainian.
Vladimir Klitschko, 6'5", 35 years old. David Haye, 6'3", 30 years old. David Haye has said, this fight by far solidifies my legacy. Do you expect David Haye to give him a run for his money and even win the fight?
I think it's a possibility. I think he has a small window of opportunity at the beginning of the fight, and if he can get through Klitschko's jab before Klitschko can settle into his sort of monotonous but effective rhythm, and if he can land on Klitschko, it could make all the difference, because Klitschko has vulnerabilities. He has stamina issues, chin issues, psyche issues, and killer instinct issues. If he can get in there early enough and rattle Klitschko, it can make all the difference.
Now let's talk about the heavyweights and what they've meant historically. You said he doesn't have that killer instinct. Usually we expect that in our heavyweights. How come he has failed to capture the public's eye?
It's because of his sort of methodical style. I mean, he does what works for him, and Lord knows it works. He's undefeated in 7 years, which is really quite extraordinary. But if one were to think back over his many victories during that time, none of them stick out in one's mind, because again, it's that same sort of jab, jab, grab style, wait for the referee to break them up, and then he takes a few steps back and he continues jab, jab, grabbing again. It doesn't make for scintillating fights. We want our heavyweights to be do or die, mad dogs, avatars of destruction, not mild-mannered chess players, which is really what Klitschko is.
Is that more of a new era, new style, 2010, 2011, years to come kind of thing for the heavyweights?
I don't necessarily think so. If you look back historically, and you look at the man who succeeded Jack Dempsey, who was clearly as much of a mad dog as there ever was, he was followed by Gene Tunney, who was a fabulous boxer, very methodical. He was friends with playwrights and poets. I mean, he really broke the mold, and he never captured the public's imagination. And we're talking about going back, 70, 80 years. So I don't necessarily think it's a recent day manifestation. And of course Tyson would indicate that it's not. I think it's just something related to the Klitschkos and who they are and how they fight and how they've been trained.
Vladimir Klitschko and David Haye, both of their losses, Vladimir with 3, David Haye with 1, have all come by knockout. There's no way this thing goes to decision, right?
No, it could go to decision. It really remains to be seen whether David Haye has enough power to knock out Klitschko. That's a real question.
Do you think he does?
Pardon me?
Do you think he does?
I think if he catches him early. I think if he catches him early and gets Klitschko off of his game plan, anything is possible. We've seen it happen when he fought Corey Sanders, when he fought Ross Purity, when he fought Lehman Brewster. When he gets off of his game plan, anything goes. And that's really what David Haye has to do. He has to get in there early, not let Klitschko settle into a rhythm, put some hurt on Klitschko early, and then anything goes.
So you expect David Haye to totally stalk Vladimir Klitschko throughout the entire fight, always coming forward?
I don't think so. I mean, unless you want to eat knuckle sandwiches all night in Hamburg, Germany, that's not the way he's going to have to fight. He's going to have to fight Klitschko the way he fought Nikolai Valuev, the Russian giant, who's 7'2". And even though Valuev is a big man who doesn't fight like a big man, he moved. He used the angles. He didn't get in there. He didn't trade with Valuev. The trick is to hit and run, hit and run, hit and run. That's what he has to do. Because again, once Klitschko gets that jab going, Haye's in big trouble.
Very quickly, Robert, then we'll let you go. David Haye backed out of a fight in 2009. He had no medical reasoning for it. Was he waiting for this time, right here, right now, to fight Vladimir Klitschko?
Well, I think so. I mean, this is really the fight of his life. And, of course, the time that was spent with delays and prevarications has really worked to the advantage of both fighters, because it's really given David Haye a platform where he could build up the gate, where he could be outrageous, he could say whatever it is that popped into his mind, and suddenly attention is drawn to David Haye in the fight. So I think it's worked in his favor as well as in Klitschko's favor.
So very quickly, you expect Vladimir Klitschko to take care of business tomorrow night?
I am afraid so, but I hope not. The heavyweight division really needs a change of blood, and David Haye would be a breath of fresh air. Not only the way he fights, the way he speaks, and all things must change, and so too the heavyweight crown.
Robert Ecksel, editor-in-chief of Boxing.com. Thank you very much for the time.
My pleasure. Talk to you soon.